The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, President-elect Bola Tinubu, and the All Progressives Congress, APC, have kicked against the request of a former Vice President, Atiku Abubakar, for a live telecast of his petition challenging the declaration of Tinubu as winner of the last presidential election. In their separate objections on Thursday, the parties insisted that the solemn nature of the court would be put in jeopardy if the cameras are allowed in the courtroom. Tinubu, in his objections raised by counsel Wole Olanipekun, said that Atiku's request was surprising, adding that granting such would amount to turning the court to a football stadium, a crusade ground, a theater, or film grounds where all manners of telecasts could be permitted. Lateef Fagbemi, who opposed on behalf of APC, faulted the request, adding that policy documents are not there for the application to be granted. INEC, in its own objections by counsel Abubakar Mahmood, said the courtroom is for serious business and that the call for live coverage is unnecessary and uncalled for and should not be granted. Meanwhile, Chairman of the Presidential Election Petition Court, that's Justice Haruna Simon Samani, has reserved ruling on whether to grant the request or not. For more on this, Arise correspondent Godfrey Eshiemoghie joins us live from Abuja. Godfrey, great to see you. Is it a coincidence that all this is coming at the same time from INEC, the APC, and representative of the president-elect?
Well, good afternoon, Cynthia. Well, of course, it's quite hilarious that we are seeing those descriptions that the APC, INEC, and Bola Tinubu have given to that request. They deemed it as quite unnecessary, overreaching, as it were, to have the cameras allowed into the courtroom. Of course, Lateef Fagbemi, the counsel to the APC, in fact, said they want to change the proceedings with regards to the petition to a reality TV show where the judges will be under close scrutiny by Nigerians who want to follow proceedings bit by bit. I wouldn't want to name the reality TV show. It's a very popular one now. So they said they wouldn't want that. That would make a ridicule, the fun of the whole proceeding, which is a serious business. The counsel to INEC, Abubakar Mahmood, says the courtroom is a solemn place, falling short of calling it a sacred place where you shouldn't have cameras coming to disrupt the solemnity, as it were, or the mood in the court, whenever proceedings are holding. So asking that the request made by Atiku Abubakar and the PDP be shut down without any thought of whoever, whatever the outcome will be, as it were. Because basically, they're saying it is a bad idea in its entirety that the request by the PDP and Atiku Abubakar to want to have cameras to give live telecast of the proceeding. So it has been shut down as it is. It has not been shut down. So INEC, APC, and Tinubu says it's a bad idea because, of course, people are taught that INEC would have bought into the idea because INEC, of course, the burden of proof rests on its shoulders because the conduct of the election had been faulted on grounds of INEC failing to adhere with allegedly failing to adhere with the electoral acts and its own regulations. So everybody would have thought that INEC would say, okay, let's go ahead so that we can prove our point that we conduct a free and fair elections. But INEC has said, no, it's a bad idea. APC too has told the same line, as well as Tinubu. So that is where the proceedings today has gotten to, as it were.
But, noted, Godfrey, but this request for live telecast also came from the Labour Party presidential candidate as well. So why is the focus so much on the PDP presidential candidate?
Well, of course, the focus is on both presidential candidates. In fact, of course, the counsel to the APC, Lateef Fagbemi, even brought up the subject of, okay, why don't we harmonize both petitions, both applications, since they are similar, harmonize them and treat them together so that we could reach rulings without having to waste the time of the court having to hear one application and then hear another and then rule on them separately. But then the court said these applications have not been consolidated yet. So they need to take them separately and then, perhaps fix a date to rule on them on the same day, but then they have to hear them separately and then rule on them on the same day. So the focus is not on just the PDP candidate, it's on both candidates, because both the two presidential candidates, Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi, are the two top candidates challenging or faulting the conduct of the 2023 presidential elections. And both men are also asking that the cameras be brought in to give some sense of openness with the proceeding. Of course, the judiciary and judiciary has been called to question most of the time with regards to these matters. So they are given more like they are using that as a stopgap measure to ensure that they get some form of openness with respect to this. So both candidates are actually in the picture, Cynthia.
Thank you so much, Arise correspondent Godfrey Eshiemoghie, for that update. We appreciate your input as always.